Decatur County Chamber of Commerce. We started talking about the Eclipse, honestly, probably a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, knowing that it was coming and making preparations for that. And the Chamber's role in that is just to help disperse information. We are not one of the party planners. Those people are sitting up here today, and they're going to talk a little bit more about what is being planned and the design efforts that are going in place. But we took it from a standpoint of we can be a facilitator of information and help in that regard. So last, I think it was October, we held the information session part 1, and we had some experts from Ivy Tech Community College who also rounded up information from Purdue University and Indiana University and said, this is what it is, and this is what has happened in the past. And through a lot of research, we came up with the infographic that was on the back table that looks like this. So if you didn't have a chance to pick that up, you can pick one up on your way out. But these are the numbers that this group here has kind of taken as their guidelines for what we are being told that we can expect. So if you'll just look at that for a quick brief moment with me. We are expecting, and it doesn't matter where you look, the numbers are going to be different. Okay, so this group kind of landed on these as our centralized numbers. But for the state of Indiana, we're looking at 145 to 581,000 visitors. And that's a really, really broad range. For Decatur County, anywhere from 5,000 to 20,000 visitors just right here in our communities. Traffic, we're being told that it could be gridlocked for a potential of 7 to 10 hours. And I know that all of this is very hard to fathom. Everyone that I talk to is like, I just can't imagine. We get it, we can't either, but we're gonna plan and prepare for these numbers as best that we can. And then the viewing areas, we're gonna talk a little bit more in detail today about that as well. We've got Pirate Park and the Decatur County 4-H Fairgrounds. Our hospitality venues, we've talked to them and kept in contact with them. They're booking fast if they're not already booked. So that gives you an indication of what that visitorship is gonna look like. And then on the Eclipse glasses, there are very specific Eclipse glasses, that you need to be viewing the eclipse through, and we're gonna have Erica Gunn with Visit Greensburg talk a little bit more in depth about that and photography as well today, because there's been some more information that has come out on that as well. So these are kind of the guidelines that we're going by, and we're just the vehicle to help get that information out to you. So I'd like to introduce our panel today, and I'm gonna introduce them in my order, but we've got Mayor Marsh with the City of Greensburg, Tony Blodgett, who is with Decatur County Commissioners, and he's going to be talking about the Decatur County 4-H Fairgrounds and efforts out there. He's going to be assisted by Kim Carpenter, who is head of Power of the Past and has helped to spearhead a lot of the efforts happening out there. Erica Gunn and Philip Dywert, I believe, is over here in the corner. They are with Visit Greensburg, so thank you guys for being here. Chief McNeely and Chief Stormer are both up there with us. They're going to talk about public safety efforts. And then Brad Spear and Calvin Venable are emergency management response efforts. And I think they're on the end down there. So without further ado, I want to again thank you for being here this morning. This is being recorded. And so at the end, we will take questions and answers. We would appreciate if you would go to the podium with a microphone for questions, because the recording will not pick you up with just your voice. We need you in front of a microphone, and then we're gonna disperse this information out further later. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Mayor Marsh. Thank you.
Thanks, Dawn. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. We're gonna try to sort of keep inside an hour. If Q&A runs a little long, that's okay, but we wanna be sure we get the questions answered, but we've got a lot of information to share. This project, I know in the last few weeks, 6 weeks, has gained a lot of steam, a lot of interest, a lot of momentum. But this has really been about a 54-week, Chief McNeely actually keeps a tally on his board, a 54-week endeavor on the public safety, public officials side of this. We've been working for well over a year in prep for this event coming. The background has really been laid, and hopefully most of that you will never see, which is the public safety planning, public safety responses, public safety availability. We've been told by the state of Indiana, and that's where EMA and our public safety officials really come into this, that resources are not available for us outside of what we already have or can muster locally. So for a year, we've been putting that together. So I don't want anyone to get the impression that we've just started doing this on January 1st. This has really been a long project. We are just now into the phase of here's the events that are happening, here's the great opportunities to enjoy it and experience it, but then also knowing that, for lack of better terms, this side of the room has really been working on this for a long time, and there's a lot of things that we hope to never get implemented, to never have to be used, and that you never know exist. But today's conversation is twofold. It's that side and this side about the excitement surrounding the event. It's the opportunity to welcome thousands of visitors to our community, to roll out the red carpet, to be a community that when they choose to come on vacation or come back and visit, they choose Greensburg and Decatur County as that place. So we've got two great events. I think we're going to hit those first. Pirate Park is sort of the one that we've sort of tackled inside the city. And then the Commissioner Blodgett and Kim are going to talk about what's happening out at the fairgrounds as well. We have been in lockstep, in unison. We're working with all of our public safety officials to make sure that both events can happen. They are tailored towards similar and different audiences as well. So there's a sheet in the back for both events. The one at Pirate Park, we're going to start on Sunday. Bands, food trucks, Main Street, Greensburg's going to do a beer garden out there. Hopefully it will be our first DORA event in the community, which will be great. We're still working through that process. But the bands are inclusive of a Carrie Underwood tribute band, a Hi-Fi Honey, and then also a band called Soul Pocket. They were actually scheduled as one of the summer concert series bands last summer, but got canceled because of the weather. So we've got a great lineup on Sunday. Friends of Fred Food Truck Festival that we've hosted for the last few years. They're bringing some of their members down to participate in that as well. Family-friendly activities, etc. Should be a great opportunity to come out and enjoy the festivities locally as a community. We expect, and we're going to talk significantly about traffic today, we expect traffic to start really being impacted on Sunday and obviously continuing through Monday. So there's events on Sunday. Monday's event's a very similar timeline, about 11 to 5. Band at 11 or noon is called Rock Review, and they actually have an entire 2-hour set put together that's all sort of space and lunar themed. So if you think of like Dark Side of the Moon and those kinds of things, they've got a great lineup. And then Nut and Fancy is going to spend a vast majority of our Monday afternoon with us playing their sort of just mix of music, because really we want people to be focused on the event. 3:07 is the start, 3:04, 3:07 is the start time, somewhere right in there. At 3:06, see, covered it on both sides. 3:06 is the start time. It lasts just about 4 minutes-ish. And you think, well, that's it, but it's about an hour to hour and a half on each side of that. So we're really looking at about a 3 to 4 hour event. And then we expect people to really start coming out very early in the morning on Mondays, getting their spots, finding the venue. That's also part of our plan with Sundays. It gives them an opportunity to dry run parking, know where they want to go, know where they want to, what they can bring, etc. So that's sort of our events. We are going to be sharing some tips, and they'll just pop up in everyone's conversation, so you'll want to be listening for those. So one tip that I've really picked up on through the planning is we have a lot of concern about the cell network on a public safety side. How that applies to the consumer or the public side is a lot of cell phone traffic is used for credit card transactions and events. And so credit card transactions may not be a thing on Sunday or Monday. We have been told that there's no extra bandwidth that can be provided through the standardized network. We're working on the public safety side again. That's a totally separate conversation. So if you have a business that has a phone line or a cell-based credit card system, you may want to be sure that you have enough cash in-house to start operating in more cash than you would. And at the risk of causing a run on the banks, maybe don't do that on the Friday before. Do it, maybe on Monday or Tuesday before. So, that's one tip that if you have something like that, you might jot down. You're going to hear a lot of those today. There's not like a specific, here's what you need to know event, but that's what this event's for, and the Chamber's been a great partner. So with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Blodgett.
Thanks. It's always great to follow Josh because he handles most of the talking for you. He doesn't leave a lot left on the table, which is fine. So really the reason the county kind of got into this was driven from public safety, trying to create event opportunities for people to go to so we can control that traffic flow and keep them from just parking wherever they want, sides of the roads, your front yards, those kinds of things. So that's how we started into the second and the primary events, was to help control that. So it's not just an event for an event's sake. It was born out of public safety. When I got into the process was last May, so I came in just a little bit late and reached out Power of the Past, and they, well, Kim and their crew's pretty much taken care of it for me. I scheduled the meetings, and they've kind of taken care of the rest of it. So they've done a really good job for us. We've put an event schedule together between us and the whole crew, and we are looking at having vendors, sale vendors there, food vendors, all local type vendors, pony rides. We've coordinated with the bowling alley to be open and miniature golf to be open that weekend, so that everybody can enjoy that. Of course, the park is right there for those types of things. We've kind of gone opposite of what the city has done so that we have a wide array of events for both locations. So if you're not into the concert series and you're more of a vendor playground, kind of easy atmosphere, that's kind of the direction that we're going with that. I'm going to let Kim talk about the Power of the Past specific type stuff that they're putting on, because there will be some additional stuff that Power of the Past will do that's kind of their meat and potatoes of their stuff. So we will be riding camping also that weekend. There'll be primitive tent camping sites up in the Old Kohler Park area, and then there's also RV camping. I'm going to let Kim talk about those two, because she's really spearheaded all of those things. So she's got the depth of information on that. So I'll turn it over to Kim.
Thank you. As Blake mentioned, I do coordinate the entire Power of the Past show. So with that, we will have 200 plus campsites. Those will expand from where we usually do camping, back behind the track, into the baseball park up on the hill behind the golf course. But we are focused on country and hometown pride. That is our theme. We are featuring local vendors. We are featuring local food vendors, such as Crazy Dave. Fuzzy Top will be there. Thornburg Ice Cream, that's usually set in a harvest. He will be with us. L&L Kettle Corn's here in town. Hillbilly Corner will be with us. And so of that, some of the activities that we will be including are, there's going to be pony rides. We have a petting zoo coming. It's a barnyard party club. They have alligators, they have zebras, camels, just whatever was on the Noah's Ark will be there. So you can come and enjoy the petting zoo, bring your family out. We're encouraging you to come out and enjoy the market. As the Power of the Past is always done, we do it at the fair, we do it at our show. We do kids pedal pull with trophies. We will be doing that inside the Pavilion Building. Pavilion Building will be primarily entertainment area. There will be lots of grandstand seating. We'll do the pedal pull. Also, Power of the Past, you know, big kids like to do things too. We have an adult pedal pull, and we'll be doing that also. We also have a DJ. We have karaoke, so if you want to come out and spearhead your own talents, you can come out and do karaoke with us. There's talks of maybe doing some services on the Sunday. A different thing about our event, we are going to start on Saturday. So our event will start on Saturday. We have things scheduled on Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. There will still be pony rides. The vendors will still be open. Food vendors will still be there. But, you know, there's the big show that will happen at 306 that we will be arranging everybody to get into a really good viewing area, mainly probably on the main, like where the midway is. We are doing VIP parking, and our goal is to get our VIP parkers out first to get them maybe ahead of the crowd of trying to get out. We have also partnered with the bowling alley, and they will be open at 10 o'clock. They are going to open putt-putt golf, and essentially we'll probably, maybe if it's possible, he's going to open the sweet shop. He's also featuring a beer garden within the bowling alley, so you can come out there, bowl, and have an adult beverage. And it's just a nice time to come out and just enjoy a family setting, do a picnic. We're going to bring all the picnic tables and do a picnic area. So come out and bring your family and join us.
Alex?
Yes, sir.
Question, is that okay?
Yeah.
Hey, two questions. One, the 200 spaces you have available, what are your guys' rates? How much are you charging for people to bring in a camper and stay?
Okay, so 50 amp, I believe, is $450. And these range from Friday to Tuesday. You don't have to leave till Tuesday, so, you know, count those days. A 30 amp is $350. A generator's $250, and a tent with electricity will be $150. A tent with no electricity will be $100.
Okay. And then, question number two, how many spaces have you, already reserved? I'm just curious, out of the 200.
I have 10 right now, but I have gotten multiple calls in the last 2 days. People are now scrambling and looking for those campsites. They're looking for those places to go. We are in the top 10 places. Greensburg is in the top 10 places in Indiana to view the eclipse. So I know it's hard to fathom how many people are coming to this area, but we rank in the top 10 viewing areas. We are on the, on the threshold of the bottom part of the eclipse area in totality. So those people from Kentucky, I've got people calling from Georgia, Tennessee that want to come this way. Those people coming south will stop here first before they go too much further north, I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Also, I wanted to add that parking, there'll be fees for parking, but to get into the actual area is all free. The Barnyard Party Bowels has been paid for by the county, so entrance into that is free. I think they'll have a small cost for if you want to feed the animals or something, but the majority of this is free unless you get something from one of the vendors. Pony Rides is a donation. It's Triple R Equine Rescue is doing that, so they'll have stuff down there and trying to raise donations for this.
I also have a balloon artist that will come in and do balloon animals and stuff for your kids too, and that's free too.
I'll pass it on. Who's next?
Thank you. I wanted to cover a few things about safety of the eclipse. When you're viewing the eclipse, you need to have protective eyewear. At Visit Greensburg, we're offering eclipse glasses for $1 that you can use. If you do not use protective eyewear, it will cause vision problems. You can have blindness. It will burn your retinas. So it's extremely important that you use the protection. If you are planning to use something like binoculars or a telescope or a camera, you must have a filter for whatever you do use. There are bhphotovideo.com offers things for like a camera, something you can put over the lens if you're using an SLR camera. But what we really recommend at Visit Greensburg is just to be in the moment and view it on your own. There are some filters you can get for your camera that are about $20. From what I've heard, that they don't do a lot. You won't really get some great photos. So the best idea is to try to just view it on your own. Also, we are hiring a photographer to take pictures of the eclipse that we will be offering, to everyone in Decatur County at Visit Greensburg. So you can also get images that way that will look better than most of what you're going to get with just your normal camera. So also, if you have like a camera, I'm going to try to show you guys. You have to you can use your glasses, but you need to put it over the lens of your, thank you, kind of like that, if that is helpful. Because anything you look at through either your phone, a camera, binoculars, it will do the same as if you were looking at it with no protection at all. So safety is really important to us. Please make sure you use glasses or some form of protection. And we do have glasses at the table. You guys can buy for $1 today. If you don't get it today, we have plenty that we're offering at the Visitor Center downtown in Greensburg. So.
Chief Sturmer, Greensburg Fire Department. We cover the city of Greensburg proper and then Washington Township, which includes the 4-H fairgrounds. So we're in charge of fire and first emergency response for those areas. We are really, in this event, we are supporting our law enforcement partners, the Decatur County Sheriff's Office, who's handling physical security and traffic at the 4-H Center, and then the Greensburg Police Department, who's handling visitor and traffic at the Pirate Park and the rest of the city. We have been planning, as Mayor Marsh said, for over a year. We have very intricate details and plans for what is in place. Our message is, though, that you have to be patient with us. If you call 911 for a fire truck, an ambulance, a police car, you are going to have to remain patient. We look at traffic gridlock, and I know we're all having some struggles understanding how massive that is. We've talked with Christian County, Kentucky, which is Hopkinsville. In 2017, they had a solar eclipse. That solar eclipse drew an enormous amount of people to their area, and that eclipse was only 1 minute and 17 seconds long. This eclipse, actual totality, is going to be around 3:30, 3:38 for the city of Greensburg. So we're looking at double that time. That is the importance, that is the significance of this event. We will be full staffed. We have canceled all vacations. We have canceled all paid time off. So we will have every member on our department working over Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. As we prepare for this, the same message goes is you have to be your own first responder. Make sure you have food. Make sure you have your medicines. Make sure you have full tanks of fuel. Make sure you have all of those things to do. Unfortunately, April's also severe weather week. We do not know what we're going to behold until about 15 days before. I've been told we can start to get some good weather data of what it is. Historically speaking, it doesn't look good. It's about 70% cloudy on that April 8th over the past 4 years. However, of all this work, we hope that it works out and it's bright and sunny because we've done a lot of work and we want to actually kind of reap some of that. So with that, we are going to be partnering with WTRE on their AM side. We will be giving out messages, updates, and if anything would go wrong, knock on wood that it doesn't, but we will be using that as kind of our emergency alert, emergency radio, as well as our storm siren network in the city and township has voice capability, so we can actually put voice messages over that as well. So if you are outside at the fairgrounds, you are outside at these areas, you will be able to listen. We ask that everybody be weather aware. All of our, obviously because of the eclipse, all of our stuff is outside, and shelter is going to be limited. So before you head out, make sure you have your cell phone, make sure you have a charger, make sure you check the weather. You know, we're going to try to do we're going to be monitoring the weather 24/7, 365 throughout this event. But we also ask for some personal responsibility to do that because we will have sound systems and speakers at both areas to get that message out. But sometimes you're going to get it on your cell phone before you get our message because we're probably going to get it at the same time and then we have to distribute that message out. So we ask for patience that day. All throughout because everybody is going to be doing the best they can with what they have. And we ask that is a day that if you can kind of stay in and just go outside and enjoy it. We've heard a lot of people bringing in families. Some of our industries are running, and with that brings that traffic load. One of the big questions we get is the train going to run? And I can tell you, yes, the train is going to run. So you do need to make plans, and it's not too soon and it's not too late to make plans. You need to make plans for what you're going to have. And it's just one of those things where, ourselves, teaming up with Decatur County EMS, are going to be providing emergency medical services. We still have to take all the 911 calls on the fire, police, and EMS side that come daily, which is anywhere from 4 to 24, depending on what the day is. Those calls don't stop, even though we have 20,000 people in town enjoying an event. We will have first aid, and I'll let Calvin talk about that more, but we will have medical providers at both sites. We will have fire protection at both sites, as well as commanders that will be running those sites independently. So every event we have will be kind of standalone, which means that we don't have to rush people from one side of town to another to do that. So everybody will be in place prior to that. So we're attempting our best to maintain our response times as much as it is. The response times that we're anticipating having issue with will be just getting around town really before the eclipse and then after the eclipse. During the eclipse, everybody's going to kind of be sheltered in place almost watching. But then after that, it's gonna be, an onslaught. So I'll let Chief McNeely talk about traffic safety. One thing I would say is pay attention. Pay attention to the other drivers. Remember, it's not always us, it's them. And then patience, because it's going to take zipper traffic. It's going to take, if you're on the interstate, you might want to pack a lunch, pack some snacks. If you're diabetic, and that sounds silly, but 7 to 10 hours is a very real possibility on the interstate. Where Greensburg at, we're in a great location between Indianapolis and Cincinnati, except for today, or that day, because that's how everybody's going to get back to Southern Ohio and Kentucky. They are out of the totality. Dayton is the first really place in Ohio that gets it. So either they're going to go north to Dayton, or they're going to come over and visit us, which we hope they do. But with that saying is trying to get to and from Indy is going to be pretty much almost impossible. So we'll take your questions after that, and I'll turn it over to Chief McNeely.
Thank you, Chief Storm. So with the police department, we've been preparing for this. Sorry, Calvin. Oh wait, I want everybody to get involved here just for a second. Can I just ask who here is residential? Just you're resident and just want to come and hear about it? Okay. And then industrial? Okay. Business, and then small business or and large business? Okay. Thank you. It's a good demographic of what we got here. Police department's as prepared as we're going to be. We are going to have you should not see a difference when you call for us if you have an emergency. Emergency time should be the same response time for us that you would normally see. We have a schedule and basically a zoned map that has our officers spread out around the city, so that you should not see any problems there. The one thing that will probably be a little slower to respond to is going to be if someone's on your property. Obviously, something like that. We want to come and help if we can, but obviously that will not be our first priority. Our first priority is 911 in emergencies. So if you have somebody on your property that you don't want there, it's pretty easy to go out and ask and say, would you please move? And if they say no, if they're on your property, then obviously you can give us a call, and we'd be happy to come and help with that. I do want to say April 8th of 2023 was 55 degrees, sunny, clear skies. So even though 70% of the time it's cloudy, it could possibly be sunny. The other thing to remember is even though it may be cloudy, people will still come. People are still going to show up just because it's going to get dark in the middle of the day, and that's not going to happen again until, none of us will be here. Maybe some of your kids will not be here. So it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience for anybody that will experience it this time. As far as traffic-wise goes, I don't know how to say this is going to be because we won't know until it happens. We're going to do our best to try to direct traffic without getting officers out in the middle of intersections. That's a very dangerous thing for us to put our officers in the middle of intersections. So we worked with the street department to identify egress routes out of the city. They will be putting up some signage prior to the day to help people that aren't from our area get back towards the interstate to get back out of our community. So as that time comes, you'll see some I-74 signs pop up on local stop signs and stuff like that. That's just to help people that don't know exactly how to get out. There are a couple of road closures that were passed last night at the council meeting. Central Street between the Big Blue and Northeast 80 will be completely closed. We will be working with Lee Addition and with Arbor Grove to help those residents and the Arbor Grove folks get in and out of their facility. And that's just basically for safety of people crossing from the Greensburg High School area over to the event. We just don't want to have somebody get hit by a car. That is also the area where Friends of Fred food truck event, did I say that all right? They will be stationed on Central. So traffic will not be able to get through. There will be designated handicap parking in the front parking lot of the Greensburg High School, and then we'll utilize the rest of Greensburg has been very gracious in working with this. We've been meeting with them and talking about where we can put people, because again, we won't know how many people show up until they get here. We're trying to plan for the numbers that they've told us, but it could be a lot more, it could be a lot less. The other thing would be a lane restriction on Montgomery Road. So from Davidson Street, which is kind of right in front of Carousel Learning Center, their entrance is right there, to Lincoln Street will be one way west to Lincoln Street, and that's just for emergency services, for the ambulance, and to be able to get to the hospital quickly if we have gridlock traffic. We expect gridlock traffic. We want to encourage everybody, if you are coming out to the event, we want you to come out to the event. If you have alternate forms of transportation, bicycles, golf carts, UTVs, by all means, we will have some specialty parking for golf carts and UTVs. So if you've registered those through the city and you're going to come in for the event that day, we'll have a place for you to park that's different than automobiles. We will utilize the high school parking lot first, and then from there, we'll start filling up the elementary school. We are going to bring everybody into those parking areas off of Big Blue Avenue. So we will not have the back entrance of the elementary school open. Everybody will come in off of Big Blue. Just helps us control the parking a little bit more and the traffic flow a little bit better. And then when we exit, we will be using the Laban Way, the backside of the elementary school. That traffic, we're going to try to flow to 46 and then east. And then everybody coming out of the high school lot, we're going to try to flow around Montgomery Road to Freeland and out to the interstate. And then anybody that is parked in that area, we figure will probably make their way to Lincoln Street and then go north from there. We do anticipate all of our traffic coming from the south and the east. And so going south and east afterwards is where we're really going to have the traffic issues. We do not anticipate a lot of traffic coming from in from that area when it's over. So just going out is what we're worried about. What we've found in the people we've talked to is getting to the events is not a problem because people trickle in all over time. As soon as the event is over, it's kind of like a concert. Everybody gets in their cars and they're ready to go home because most people probably took off Monday for the event, but didn't want to take an extra vacation day for Tuesday, and so they're ready to get home. And so, yeah, we do want to encourage folks, be prepared, be ready for large traffic strain. We're working with our wrecker companies. We're stationing them at our exits along the county to be able to get to people quickly and get them off of the interstate, as well as ISP has dedicated, I know, resources to I-74 only to help keep that traffic flow open. So that's kind of as far as that goes. I have had some conversation with the sheriff, and their plans are fairly similar to ours. The only difference is when their traffic leaves, they will be pushing everybody to State Road 3 bypass. State Road 3 then to the bypass. Is it really a bypass anymore? So State Road 3 north. So they're going to push everybody to there, and then they'll start making their way. So the area that's really going to get busy is going to be Broadway, Lincoln, Freeland, everybody trying to get at I-74. We know everybody's going to be using GPS as well. And so when those places start clogging up, all of a sudden you're going to have people going on streets that would never dream of going on. It's just like when you're on vacation and traffic stops in front of you and all of a sudden you're on County Road 280 West in the middle of Kentucky. How do I get back to the interstate? So we know that's going to happen. We expect that to happen. The other thing we expect, and talking to the sheriff, is there will be people out in the county that aren't normally out there. They're going to be looking for dark places because that's where they can get their best pictures. And so a lot of folks will just be out in the county that don't know where they're from. They don't know you. We don't know them. And so expect those people to be there. Give a friendly wave because this is Decatur County and we still wave at people here. So I covered everything. Okay, good. I'll pass this on to Calvin Venable, the Director of EMS at Decatur County Hospital.
Morning.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'm good. Calvin Venable, I represent the Decatur County EMS, and I've also been the part of the plan for the hospital side of stuff. So as far as EMS goes, just like the fire department, vacations have been where they can't take it. We have 6 ambulances that we have. All 6 will be available for Sunday and Monday. Our plan on Monday is more Monday based because we're worried about getting around Monday afterwards. we'll have our ambulances that we normally have at the station. We'll also have ambulances at both events. And then we'll have one at Bernie Fire Department. They've graciously opened up their fire department for us to put one there, and that will cover Bernie and Adams and St. Paul by county roads if we need to. So, that being said, I think as far as that, the 2 first aid tents, will be staffed with EMS as well as, nurses and medical assistants from the hospital. And the Board of Health has been gracious enough to loan us their 2 nurses to help with that too. So, as everything's planned, well, like everybody says, it's nice going toward the last. Everybody's hit all the key points, but if you have any questions, we'll take them with. Give it to Brad Spear.
Thank you, Brad Spear with the EMA. I just want to cover a few things. You've heard a little bit. This is going to cover the whole county. So we're going to have areas like Lake Santee, Westport, St. Paul. If nothing else, their families are going to be in. I know at Lake Santee, 4th of July, every year we have a huge amount of people come in. So you're going to see things like that happen as well. This does cover most of the state. 52 of the 92 counties are affected in some way by this. Even the counties that aren't covered are going to see some partial eclipse, I think they called it when they talked to us. And as far as the ability to respond in the county, we're going to see the same things. DNR is really pushing that once I-74 backs up, everybody's going to get on Google Maps or whatever, Apple Maps. They're going to start using state highways, and when those fill up, they're going to start using county roads. So keep in mind, this traffic thing could extend out into our county and could cause problems with our normal responses to emergencies. As far as EMA, I want to stress the eye safety, especially if you've got kids. It's very dangerous if you look at this, and the damage can be permanent. So keep that in mind and remind everyone you know. As far as resources, we do have a good site, eclipse2024.in.gov. The state's put together a really good resource list, whether it's eye safety, traffic, or anything else. And if we do have some sort of a catastrophe event, NITSL and Code Red will both be utilized during this. So get signed up for those as well. And I think Chief mentioned WTRE will be another source, is AM radio. I think from my standpoint, that's, Doug. Is there anything else we need to cover, Chief?
I don't think so. I think more questions now, Don, if we're to that point.
Yeah, we know that there are probably a lot of questions, and before we even get into that, I want to thank everybody that is here today on the panel. This is a heck of a community-wide effort, so thank you guys all for all of your efforts prior to today. I know, like you said, it's taken a year and a half to get to today, and we still have more to go, but we greatly appreciate your time and commitment to the communities here. At this time, if anybody has any questions, we are going to ask that you step up here to this podium so that you're microphoned. So if you just want to come over here and form a line, that would be great. Thank you. Come on around.
Yep. And while you're making your way over there, one thing I want to point out too, so both government agencies are closing their business offices on Monday. So city services will be delayed until Tuesday. We have redirected all of our resources. We're mandating them come to work to fill other roles, but offices are closed, and that's true for the county. The courthouse is closed. Is that correct? Right. But of course, we've got all of our public safety and everybody, but we're redirecting our resources for that as well.
Okay. Hi. Well, first of all, I'm Lori Durbin with the Greensburg Decatur County Public Library. I have less of a question and more of a kind of an announcement for you all. But first of all, thank you all for all the hard work that you put in. It sounds like you've done an amazing job of working and everything, and we appreciate that as a community. I wanted to let you know that we've also been planning for the eclipse. Ours isn't quite as scary as some of what you have going on over there. We're having more fun things. On March the 19th, we have a planetarium at the library for the entire day, and there will be a variety of shows for kids and adults that you can sign up for. On the 21st of March, we have Rick Galloway from the Indiana Astronomical Society. He's going to give us a little bit of the history of eclipses, the history of eclipses in the past. I don't know if that's proper plural or not. So he will be here in the evening on the 21st, and then we're holding what we're calling an Eclipse-a-palooza On the 22nd, it's a family event. There will be crafts and refreshments. Utopia Wildlife Rehab is coming, and the Cincinnati Observatory is coming with their telescopes. We're going to see a little bit of what the night sky looks like, so we'll know like what we might be looking for during the eclipse, when you can see some of the stars. Not to take anything away from the city or the people who are selling glasses, but the library does have free glasses to provide up to a certain point. And the library will also be closed on Eclipse Day because we will be participating in the Pirate Park extravaganza. So thank you very much.
If I missed it, I apologize, but Chief McNeely, you mentioned a couple of streets that are going to be closed or redirected. Do we know what other streets will be one-ways or different than what we are used to as residents?
Yeah, thank you. I believe the Sheriff's Department, and Tony, you can correct me if I'm wrong, has asked that Park Road be one-way only from the fairgrounds, no, from the city out to the fairgrounds.
Last I was told, it will be closed. At noon on the day of the eclipse, they plan to close it completely for traffic.
Okay.
It was the last I was told.
On Monday, only at noon, they're gonna close it.
It hasn't come in front of the commissioners yet, but that was the last I was told, was that was gonna be the request.
Okay.
From, basically the golf course entrance on the other side of Kohler Park entrance, all the way down to the other end. Okay.
150, isn't it?
150?
Yeah, I think that's what.
Broadway.
Okay. The other thing, I think we all kind of forgot, we're gonna be hosting a phone bank. We're gonna have some volunteers there for frequently asked questions that may be coming in. Where can I go to eat, things like that. And all of that phone number, I don't know off the top of my head. It is in all the literature that we've been sharing on social media. Kristen, do you happen to know it? Okay, it's over there if you want to go over and grab that document, or if you have it, I think, oh, it's on the black piece of paper you have. That phone bank will be staffed on Sunday and on Monday, I believe, from 8A to 8P. And also, yeah, that phone number for those of you watching at home is 844-260-1230. Again, 844-260-1230. And they can answer questions that people may not be able to get an answer to. And the other thing I did forget to mention, and it is a little important, is property damage accidents, so fender benders. We will probably be asking folks to just exchange insurance information, contact information, and going on. We just will not have the resources to be able to go to a whole bunch of property damage accidents.
Jerry Canfield, First Church of God. So a question, I guess, of curiosity. What should we anticipate, like on our property, parking, if anything, or how can we help facilitate and be useful?
Sure. So you could do one of two things. You can welcome people to park there, or you can block it off. If you'd rather not have people on your property for whatever reason you choose, you could just, I don't know, if you have entrances, you could stretch a rope across it, put cones in front of it, something like that. But if you're okay with people being on your property, I don't see any problem with welcoming onto your property as well, whichever you choose to do.
Okay. So then a second question. I live on Cedar Court, which is right off of Montgomery. So I know Montgomery's going to be one way towards the hospital. Will we have a lot of traffic in that area?
We do not anticipate an increase of traffic after the event, because we're gonna push everybody around, away from there. And that was more to keep people in the busier section of the roadway, not more towards the residential, but also allow our emergency services, if they need to get to the hospital quickly.
Thank you.
Yeah, but we'll definitely work with anybody that needs to get somewhere.
Hello, my name is Mike Link. I'm with Thorn Tree Lake Campground on old US 421. Just a couple questions. One, as fellow business owners and homeowners, we challenged with whether or not we should ramp up for this or not. So each day that goes on, we have to make that decision. So it sure would be helpful. I would imagine, the public that is gonna come, you guys would have that information before any of us. Like the 200 sites you have, or the phone calls you guys are receiving. If there's any way you guys could inform us of that activity, that would sure help us. Right now, you know, we're just kind of in the dark and we just have to rely on phone calls we get. But it sure would help if I knew, like, your side of the equation. Like, if you told me all 200 spaces were already rented, you know, that's great.
Not all 200 are already rented, but you and I had talked on the phone. You had
Yeah.
called me before. And
So that information would be helpful, even phone
Yeah.
calls.
I told
like
you that
people
if I
coming in
did
town.
get full or I got to a point where I didn't have any more electric, and I don't know what kind of electric you have available, but I would call you and I would push some that way for
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. So I don't know if there is a way to communicate the activity that you guys are receiving to the public, so we can make a decision. It'd be more of an educated decision if we should start ramping up or not. Right now, we're just kind of in the dark. So,
I think that is a very specific example to your business. I think one thing in this meeting and the one that's at 5:30, we're telling you everything we know right now. That's what these are for. We are telling you, plan for it, ramp up for it. The community is spending thousands, tens of thousands of dollars preparing for someday it may rain.
right.
So you're gonna have to make that decision whether you want to do that as a business or not. You can plan for it, spend money, prep for it, and it be a waste, or you could be on the other end too. So, I mean, and that's true for everyone, right? But I think it's worth noting, the community leaders and public safety officials are planning for worst case scenario, which is the best case scenario. We have a great turnout, we have great attendance, we have great events. So I think you should do that too.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, the information you guys possess is huge for us.
So I would say that every DNR property that is in the site or in the totality is full.
Oh, okay.
Every
What about
D-
the hotels? Do you guys know if the hotels?
Every DNR, so we deal directly with the DNR, and that's public safety, so they have that information to share. I believe, Brad, you have called some hotels. Most hotels are filling up. We have gotten complaints to the city about the price of hotels. So I know people are calling and trying to schedule hotels, but they have a 2 or 3 day minimum and the hundreds of extra dollars that they are charging. People are looking for that. So for all intent and purposes, to your question, as the mayor said, it is headed that way.
Yeah, okay. Well, good, that's helpful, yeah.
I can say just from running the gold camp down south of town, I've got 100 people already registered. So, plan on getting.
Where's that at?
I'm just out south of town. I run a gold camp for gold prospectors and everything. And groups of my people from different states and everybody coming down there, I've already got 100 people registered. So, I'm kind of a niche thing. It's.
So that's Jim McIntyre saying that his campsite's got 100 people
All right,
down south of town.
So it's
We
gonna be.
have contacted the hotels and, the last we knew, 80%, I think is where. Yeah, so between 80 and 95% are booked, hotels, the rooms, sorry. So, and you go to Shelby County, they're booked solid, Indianapolis is booked solid. I talked to, Bartholomew County, most of Columbus campgrounds, they have, the Cummins Campground, I can't think of the name. Fairland. It's at 80% capacity right now, the last they knew. So things are filling up in a hurry. You know, Rush County has canceled the Pioneer Campground, so.
And the only reason I bring this up is because I've received one phone call so far. The guy down the street from me was all ramped up, ready to go. He had one reservation, so he had to shut down.
Have they advertised?
That, I haven't really, but
Okay.
the guy down the street, boy, he.
Go out to that Eclipse 2024.in.gov. They have the opportunity both to advertise or they talk about how to advertise.
Okay.
Might be a resource.
Not to skip the line, but Zane owns Holiday Inn. Do you have a comment on that?
On what? Sorry.
I want to be sure we keep in order but do you have a comment on the hotel
I can when it's my turn.
No, go ahead.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Well, as far as we're concerned, we started booking a year ago, last May for this. So, I don't know, my wife kind of is in charge of that, she's sitting over here. But to my knowledge, we're full, correct?
We have a few rooms left. Who are you with? We have both.
Zane owns the Holiday Inn Hotel.
So, I don't know, what other questions did you have concerning that?
No, that's fine. I mean, I didn't know if that was your comment, you were gonna weigh in on the hotel.
I just had a curiosity. Okay, so it's gonna get dark for the eclipse, right? What about all the streetlights, parking lights in the city? What's happening there?
Well, so the short answer to that is, I've talked to Duke Energy about that. Because we are a community that are still on high-pressure sodium streetlights, they are not independently controllable. They have a photo cell in them that turns them on when it's dark. Last night at the Board of Works meeting, we actually approved Duke to come through and replace all of those with LEDs, which actually provide them the ability to remotely disable a particular light. That project won't be completed by April 8th, so we're actually going to miss that window. So we aren't able to control the streetlights in vast majority. We've asked Duke to specifically look at the lights surrounding the events, but I haven't gotten an answer back from that. Most private businesses that have streetlights like yourself, there's probably some way you can turn them off on your property via a breaker or something like that. If you're interested in doing that, that does help with the experience, but it's also another step. We have talked to the Greensburg schools, so the Greensburg schools obviously have a lot of lights on their property. They're investigating how to do that because it's not something that we've ever requested them do before, right? Go out and turn out all your outside lights. It will be dark enough for that to happen. Photo cells will trip, they will come on. It actually does have a negative impact on wildlife. Birds chirp, crickets come out, everything goes nuts for 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes in the middle of the afternoon. So it will be dark enough for that.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Your question?
Hi, I am Scarlett with Catch a Ride Lifetime Resources. I know you've touched base on some of the routes that are going to be one-way or shut down. Do you actually have a physical map that, say, even for our business itself, the dispatchers, we're trying our best. We have full routes that day, and we're trying our best to basically kind of veer out and around to where it doesn't contribute to that congestion. So I didn't know if you had a physical map that we could actually look at and use.
So we just got the closures approved last night, so we didn't want to release anything prematurely. But I believe the plan is to release something like that through a media release. It'll probably be through the city's social media, police department's social media. I'm sure all of us will share that as that gets, since we've got it approved now, it'll probably be coming in the near future. As far as how far you're going to have to go out to go around to get to those places, I couldn't tell you that either.
We have drivers that are very familiar with the area. Myself, I'm not. So that's why physical map helps us. So, thank you.
Look for it in the future.
Thank you.
Anything else?
One thing I would caution, at least they're cautioning us and asking us to tell you guys, you see big numbers here, and like the mayor said, we're planning for the absolute worst. Don't over plan as far as small businesses and things. Don't lose money on inventory because it rains that day or something like that. Trucks in and out, if you can plan your trucks Thursday or Friday before, absolutely do that. They're gonna get caught on the interstate. I would almost guarantee it on Monday. So if you can push off or pull in your deliveries or shipments, it would be a huge plus and a help to us as well.
Got one more thing, unless we got other questions. So if you are a business owner and you can shift your schedules and you can shift your personnel travel, that's incredibly beneficial. Thank you. If you're a large-scale employer, if you can convince corporate to shift that, that would be incredibly beneficial. If you have deliveries, as Brad mentioned, that would be helpful. So it really is one of these things where, and if you're not open on Sundays, or if you're not open on Saturday evenings, and you're not open on Mondays, you might want to reconsider that. It is an opportunity to, have an impact, or if you have a restaurant or something that typically isn't open those days, you may want to be, and then publish that, right? I mean, that is part of this too. We want everyone to be successful. We're not doing this just so that we can have events at the Pirate Park or at the 4-H Fairgrounds. We want to welcome people to the community. They're going to be here for longer than Monday afternoon. So embrace that, but also if you can be of help in alleviation some of that, bring your golf cart, bring your UTV, ride a bicycle, walk to something. And then also, as Chief McNeely said, be friendly and wave. It's going to be a little bit stressful for everyone, but we'll make it. Final call for questions. Sure.
You to come all the way up.
Oh, your question, is the Postal Service going to run? I am sure the federal government will run on time and on schedule and on budget.
You did real good until you said budget.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, Chief made the comment, you might want to be telling your employees, if you are having them come to work, if you typically have them till 5, and if they typically commute across town or across country, cross county, out of county, whatever, they may want to be prepared for that. Bring a cooler, bring a snack, bring a drink. Because we did have a regional Zoom call with like Columbus and other communities that are in sort of our corridor. Rushville's got a big event planned. Shelbyville is like almost dead straight center in the middle of it. So we are going to see regional impact. If you have an employee that goes home to Indianapolis every night, that's going to be a terrible day for them to go home. Yeah, you might also think about, you might have some people calling in sick at a high level on Monday, April 8th. So you might work with your employees to figure that out. You might work on flexing time or being sure that the diabetic thing is a big deal, right? If they typically get home and emergency response may be harder to get to on the interstate because of traffic. So just sort of to your question, I mean, we're sort of just planning for worst case scenario and trying to think of every box that we can. And I'm sure we'll get there one day and go, well, we didn't think of that, but we'll work on it.
Any other questions or comments? Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much to our Decatur County team up here for being available today. We are going to host another session tonight at 5:30. So if you happen to think of a question that didn't get asked, or you think of something later, I am so guilty of that. 5 minutes later, oh yeah, should have. You're more than welcome to come back to the 5:30 session. Send somebody else from your organization. Again, we're just trying to get you as much information as possible so you can make the best informed decision for you, your business, your industry. And with that, please everyone have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.